Good evening, everyone. A little earlier today, at least. I hope you had a good day, so far anyway. And I certainly enjoyed that big storm that we had roll through. I love it when it pours like that and takes care of washing cars and don't have to go to the car wash, and takes care of all the plants in your yard. God's watering them all for you. How great is that? And I don't know about you, but it's clear now. Depends on where you are, I guess. So I just got to spend time with my other granddaughter, which is always nice, until she gets obsessed with something on her mother's phone. Not that that's unusual. I mean, it doesn't happen every day, but it does happen. So, had a busy day today again. Laid down a floor, what do you call it, a linoleum stick-on tile floor. Got it almost all done. Finishing it up tomorrow. I should probably post some before and after pictures, huh? It came out really nice. I was actually very impressed by the tile. So, it makes some good stuff nowadays. And it's not as hard to cut as it used to be either, which is thankfully a blessing. So, was thinking about how it is to be positive when there's a lot of chaos rolling around in the world. And there is a lot of chaos rolling around in the world. Hey, it is. Hey, Wesley. I'm at a red light here. I'll just give a few people a wave. And when there is a lot of chaos in the world, how do you ground yourself? How do you get yourself in a good space? Do you even pay attention to the chaos? Which a lot of people don't, but a lot of people do. So I guess it depends, where your headspace is when it comes to wanting to either know about it or hearing about it maybe from somebody else, and maybe you don't want to know about it. You keep hearing about it, which that happens too, right? People post stuff and people get mad about things and they post it and they're friends with you. I think Facebook should change their algorithms again. It's like I can only see I don't know, 25 people or something. Got over 2,000 friends on Facebook, and honestly, most of them I know personally. It kind of stinks when you can't see what they're up to unless you scroll through, tons and tons of notifications when they post something. It's annoying. They should make it like a percentage instead of a flat number, Like if you have 2,000 friends, you should be able to look at 10% of them or something. Should come up on your feed. You do 10% of your most popular ones or something like that. I don't know. There should be something better than 25 people. That's it. They're cut off. You can't hear from the rest of them unless you go to their page. So that's a little annoying. I feel like sometimes there's stuff that I really want to connect with on people, and I got to make it a point to go to their page, then catch up. But such is life. They do what they do, right? You got to live with it. And it's still free, so I guess you can't really whine about it too much. Nothing's going to change, even if you do, I think. They're going to do what they're going to do. That's just how it is, right? So, if there is a lot of chaos in the world and you don't want to participate, like I decided I don't want to participate, I just don't. And a lot of the time I just stay focused on what I need to do to take good care of myself. Again, self-care is always important, right? And I think it's important when people do take really good care of themselves. So even if you do know about certain things that are happening or hear about it, it doesn't throw your whole day off, and it doesn't turn your world upside down. And to me, that's important. That's another way of staying grounded, staying present to myself. A lot of the time, I do a lot of my good thinking when I'm doing other things. So whether it's driving, painting, cleaning, laying down tile, it's not ceramic tile, so I'm not quite that good. But you know, there's a lot of things you can do that are kind of like no-brainer things to do, and you can allow your mind to wander a little bit, and still, you know, being present to myself, but yet not being what's the right word? I don't even know. Not being a hard line about how it's working for me. You know, not getting crazy about, you know, having to feel like I have to think about certain things or have to do certain things a certain way, and otherwise I'm not doing it right somehow. And I'm always doing it right, you know. Whatever's right is right for me, and that's kind of how I look at it. So I don't get caught up in the chaos. I know there's a lot of turbulence in many places, but I also know that there's an awful lot of people that are really working on sending love and light and healing to all the people who suffer in every way, in any way. And how great is that? There's people out there that are praying for you. There's people out there that are meditating to bring light and love to your being. There are people who are taking an interest in how well you're doing. And I'm at a red light. I'll wave to a couple people. Hi, Rich. Hey, Sandy. Long time no see, girl. Miss my Kundalini yoga. And I think that's important, that people are willing to, you know, take the time to be caring about somebody else, about what's happening for those other people, many that they probably don't even know, like they don't even have to know you, and they're praying for you. And how great is that happens actually on a pretty regular basis, whether you realize it or not. I know a lot of people who do a lot of prayer work, meditation, sending energy, healing energies. They are, you know, not just like on the full moon or the new moon. They are doing these things on a very regular basis. I was watching a video of somebody not that long ago, and he said that if only even 1% of the planet, of the people, are engaged in that kind of work, let's call it, that can actually shift the entire universe into a positive state. So imagine that only 1% can take that shift and turn our world into a more positive world. So I think that's pretty great to hear something like that. I don't know if it's scientifically based, but I like it. I think it's great that somebody else shared that as well. And I think it's important that people recognize that prayer is important, meditation is important, sending healing and love and light to others is important. That's all important stuff to do. Just as important as maybe work, you know, regular work. Hey, Dave. Hey, Judy. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of light workers and people who are, you know, working on their own recovery, their spiritual health, their spiritual well-being, their self-care, are people who do those kinds of things. You can be one of them. You just have to set the intention. So setting an intention means just making a decision to send out love and light to others. You can take it at a specific time of the day. You can, you know, set aside 10 minutes. Makes a big difference. And while you're at it, send it to yourself, okay? Don't forget you, because when you're good, guess what? The rest of the world is good. That's kind of how it works, because it's an energetic thing. So I think it's really important to not get caught up in the chaos and not get caught up in the crazies, and to make sure that you can stay grounded. If you have trouble getting grounded, there are lots of different ways of doing it. You can go online and look them up, but simple things like just standing outside barefoot can help you. Picturing yourself growing roots down to the center, the core of the earth, and all the way up through your body, up through your head, and up to the sun, even out to the universe. If you picture yourself doing that, that will help you get grounded. Some people do it through meditation. Some people do it through guided meditations. Like I said, for me, I know that that's not my best way. Personally, I also like walking. I do like a lot of walking meditations, and I also do the one where I just said, where you stand outside and just be on the earth barefoot. For me, that really works. Really like being able to do that as often as I can, and I do at least once a day, if not more. It's pretty regular, actually. So I always think that that's kind of cool, and there's a lot of other ways of doing it, so you can go and check that out. Probably if you Google it online, I'm sure it'll come up with at least 20 or 30 different things you can do to help ground yourself. But I think when you ground yourself, that you also find yourself in a better space. And anytime you're in a better space, that positive energy will emanate out to others. And I think that that's a really positive way of going about it. So that's one of the things that I'm thinking about in terms of, being grounded, not getting caught up in the chaos, allowing yourself to be present to yourself, and taking good self-care of your physical body and your mental being. You're emotionally grounded. You're mentally grounded. You're feeling that most of the things that you're doing are going to be the best thing you can do to take care of yourself. And then you can be something to the rest of the world. Last night I was watching, I don't know, I think it was a PBS thing, I'm not really sure. And it was this one guy, and it was this whole story. I'd really never heard of him before. This whole story of him when he was younger. He said that I don't remember it, I'm not going to quote it exactly correct, but he said that if the world is wrong in something that it's doing, he goes, and I know that I'm right, he goes, I'm going to stay being right no matter what somebody else says or does, and I'm going to make sure that I carry that to other people and let other people know about it. And what it was is back, and you may or may not know this, and it wasn't that long ago, back in the 50s, late 40s, early 50s, even into the 60s and 70s. I forget what year it actually changed. But just because somebody was a homosexual, they would get fired from their job, as if it had anything to do with it. And this was a very common practice, by the way, that was a very normal thing to happen to people. Everybody from, State Department, it didn't matter if they were in the government, high clearance, it didn't matter what their job was, they would get fired when somebody found out that they were gay. Now, look at how different the world is today in terms of just that one area. And this guy literally started to change the world because he knew that was just not right. He just said, this isn't right. I want to do something about it. I'm gonna do something to make this different. And I think it was the mid 70s, I think, is when it became, well, let's call it a thing, that people were not allowed to fire somebody, or it's always been slow, glacially slow, unfortunately. And nothing changes overnight. We all know that. But again, we don't want to get caught up in all the chaos. We don't want to get caught up in all the negative energy that can fly around, because it doesn't serve you, and it doesn't serve humanity in any way when you are in that state. So I wish you a very unchaotic, happy day and evening. And I'm going to sign off with, oh, hi, Marcia. I'm going to sign off with the sun is always shining. And you know I can't see it now because it's a little cloudy. And it's definitely overcast here where I am. So it's definitely not. So anyways, the sun is always shining. I love you guys. It's always great to connect. And I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Bye for now.